we had a very good meeting this morning. It started with an early informal breakfast before the meeting, but the discussions were so easy, so productive over breakfast that we decided to stretch the breakfast to 3.5 hours. And at one point, we dismissed the officials, telling them, look, they can come back at 11 o'clock. So by the time we came back, we went through the laundry list, but really the substantive discussion was done informally over breakfast, which is what this Joint Ministerial Committee ought to be. A sharing of hopes and fears, a meeting of minds. And what's remarkable is the tremendous overlap in the way we view the world. I thought our most interesting discussion this morning was about the regional architecture. I mean, we know where we are now. We have ASEAN, the ASEAN Plus 3, the EAS. We are happy that Australia is getting into ASEM together with Russia. We talk about the coming APEC meeting. We talk about the G20. We talk about the APC. And about what we hope Asia will look like in the future, taking into account where we are today. Not all of it is reducible to points in the joint communique, but there's a lot of agreement which we will work on and translate into common action in the months and years to come. Steve and I just come back from Phuket, where we had a very good meeting between ASEAN and Australia at ARF. It is politically, the relationship is, I think, one of the best for us, and I think one of the best for you. On the trade and economic front, it's also been a very successful relationship ever since the free trade agreement was signed between Singapore and Australia in 2003. There's been a big jump in the trade numbers and the investment numbers. We just had our second review, and even though it's just been concluded, this morning we're talking about what a third review should cover in order to take that relationship to an even higher level. We celebrated the fact that between ASEAN and Australia and New Zealand, we signed the first comprehensive free trade agreement between ASEAN and this dialogue partner. It was signed in the wake of the Pattaya debacle, so not given the kind of publicity that we would have liked. So we were hoping that by the ASEAN summit in October in Phuket, enough countries will have ratified for that agreement to come into implementation. Then we can have a ceremony. So we're shooting for that. We discussed the importance of pushing the trade agenda. Doha was right up on our agenda item, and how to give it fresh political impetus. We talk about the importance of APEC, moving this on in November in Singapore, and how the TPP, the Trans-Pacific Partnership, can help trigger off a larger dynamic in favor of free trade, particularly at a time like this when, with the global economic downturn, there are domestic political pressures in many countries for protectionism. Then on the defense security side, it is remarkable how two countries can have such deep and broad relations. We are grateful to Australia for giving us very extensive facilities for all services in Australia. We talked about our common endeavors in Timor, in Afghanistan. We spent quite a lot of time talking about Afghanistan and about the future of that country, and about how troops on the ground should work together. Very good discussion. Then 2011, 40th anniversary of the 5 power defense arrangements. An arrangement which has helped maintain the peace in the region for a long time, which gives Australia and New Zealand, which makes Australia and New Zealand a part of the region. So we felt that it is right and fitting that next year, in 2 years' time, when the 40th anniversary is celebrated, that it is done in a proper way. Then we have discussions on other issues like the ASEAN Defence Ministerial meeting and how that would eventually evolve in the coming years, and some other things besides. So these are the points which come to immediate recall as I meet you. All the details are all in this communique which you've received. And may I now pass the microphone over to Steve.